Before actions make things obvious, words spill the truth. People, especially those guarding their emotions, reveal more in their speech than in their action. Many look for clues in body language, texting patterns, or how often plans are initiated, but they overlook the most telling sign, what is actually being said. Feelings rarely arrive with a grand announcement. Instead, they slip through in fragments, subtle admissions, carefully chosen words, or seemingly casual remarks that carry deeper meaning. This is especially true in the early stages when emotions are still uncertain, unspoken, and vulnerable. No one wants to expose their heart without first testing the waters. Words become the perfect shield, a way to reveal just enough while keeping an escape route open if the sentiment isn't returned. Think of it like a game of chess. Each sentence is a move, a calculated risk to see if the other person responds in kind. If the response is warm, the game continues. If it's cold, they retreat, pretending nothing ever happened. This is why recognizing these verbal cues matters. Words hold weight, and those who know how to listen will always be one step ahead. In this guide, we'll break down 7 key things someone might say when real feelings begin to take shape. If you hear even one of these, it means you're on their mind in ways they aren't outright admitting. And if you hear multiple signs, they're already emotionally invested, whether they realize it or not. But here's the real question. Will you recognize these signs before it's too late? If you don't, you could misread everything, pushing them away without even realizing it. So pay attention. Every word matters. Before we dive into the 7 things, make sure you're part of this journey. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon so you never miss an important insight that could change your life. Also, drop a powerful affirmation in the comments right now. I am worthy because you are. You deserve real connections, genuine love, and the confidence to see things as they are. Now let's begin. 1. I've never told anyone this before. Someone's willingness to open up about their inner world is often one of the clearest signs that they're feeling something deeper than casual interest. This moment can be as subtle as them leaning forward during a conversation and quietly saying, "I've never told anyone this before," or as direct as an unvarnished confession about a painful memory. In either case, what they share and how they share it reveals a lot about the bond that's forming. Words, after all, are not just sounds. They can be fragile bridges that connect 2 hearts. People don't place those bridges just anywhere. One reason personal stories matter so much is that they're typically kept under lock and key. Think of each secret like a precious heirloom hidden in the attic. Only someone with earned trust gets invited to see it. When a person says they don't usually talk about something, or they've never told another soul, it's a powerful admission. You've been given the key to that attic. This is not random. It's a quiet declaration that you stand apart from the crowd. Maybe they sense something genuine in you, or your empathy shines through, or you simply make them feel safe enough to open that locked door. By telling you these stories, they're effectively saying, "I believe you won't hurt me with this information." You might wonder why emotional disclosure is linked so closely to attraction. Couldn't someone open up for reasons other than romantic interest? While that's possible in certain contexts, there's a unique depth when genuine feelings start to grow. It's as if a protective wall begins to crumble, brick by brick. No one wants to risk being judged or ridiculed for their innermost struggles, so offering personal experiences is a test. If you respond carelessly, dismissing their concerns, changing the subject too quickly, or trying to problem solve when they just want a listener, you risk tearing down the very trust they began to build. That's why emotional sharing goes hand in hand with a growing fondness. It indicates they're looking beyond the surface and inviting you to see their true self. Still, you might ask, doesn't everyone have different comfort levels? Maybe they're just an open book. It's true, some people are more extroverted or expressive, ready to bare their soul at a moment's notice. But even the most outgoing individuals have guarded corners. Everyone has that chapter they don't typically read aloud. When they read it to you, complete with a shaky voice or an unsteady smile, it speaks volumes about the closeness they're starting to feel. It's almost like watching a sunrise. You know there's light out there in the darkness, but until the first rays break the horizon, you're just guessing. The moment they share something vulnerable is like those first rays, a soft, warm glow that confirms this is heading toward genuine connection. Think of a story where you were the person opening up. Maybe you had a fear of rejection rooted in childhood, or a lingering sense of guilt over a past mistake. Telling someone about it felt like stepping into an arena without armor. This is exactly what they're doing with you. The more sensitive the topic, the more it signals their growing attachment. Opening up about mundane details, what they had for breakfast or how they spent last weekend, doesn't carry the same weight as unveiling a deeper wound or a cherished dream. Real attraction flourishes in the space where vulnerabilities are shared and respected. At this point, many people freeze or fumble, unsure how to respond. Should they nod sympathetically, offer advice, or shrug it off to lighten the mood? A common mistake is trying to fix what's been revealed. The advice giver might say, "Well, you should do this, and then you'll be fine," inadvertently minimizing the importance of the confession. Another misstep is to deny its seriousness. "Oh, that's nothing. Don't worry about it." In attempting to soothe, they inadvertently dismiss it. A more constructive approach is simple validation. Phrases like, "I can tell this matters a lot to you," or "I appreciate you sharing this with me," can make them feel heard and seen. Listening is an art, and in moments of raw honesty, it's the best skill you can bring to the table. Stoic philosophy tells us that we can't control everything that happens to us, but we can control how we react. This principle rings true when someone peels back the layers of their soul. You can't undo whatever pain or experience they've had, but you can choose to respond with empathy rather than judgment. As Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This mindset fosters the emotional security necessary for trust to grow. When someone feels they can confide in you without consequence, that's where real closeness begins. Picture it like planting a seed. Each moment of disclosure is a tiny seed of trust put into the soil of the relationship. You nurture it by hearing them out and responding with compassion. Over time, that seed can grow into something sturdy and flourishing, but it needs consistent warmth and care. If you ignore or mishandle the seed by reacting harshly or flippantly, you risk letting it wither before it has a chance to blossom. People rarely forget how you made them feel in moments of vulnerability. If they come to you with a delicate piece of themselves and walk away feeling lighter, understood, and respected, it creates an invisible bond. That bond isn't easily broken because it's forged in a space of authenticity. So when you hear the words, "I've never told anyone this," or even a more reserved version like, "This is really personal, take notice," you've just been handed something precious. Like a priceless painting that was never meant to leave the gallery. How you handle that moment can shape the future of your connection. Ultimately, emotional openness is not about pity or problem solving, it's about shared humanity. Everyone longs to be understood. When they let you in on a closely guarded secret, it's proof they believe you might be that understanding presence in their life. If you honor that trust, you stand on the threshold of a deeper, more meaningful bond. One that goes beyond small talk and fleeting interactions, and that in many ways is where real attraction thrives. In the quiet spaces where secrets are shared, hearts are unguarded, and understanding runs deep. 2. I feel so comfortable around you. When someone looks at you warmly and says, "I feel so comfortable around you," your first thought might be that this is simply polite conversation. A casual compliment, not much different from telling someone you appreciate their kindness or that you enjoy their company. But beneath these simple words lies a world of hidden meaning that's often missed. People don't just randomly tell others they feel comfortable. True comfort, especially in relationships, isn't about surface-level ease. It's deeper, reflecting both emotional trust and the removal of subtle, invisible barriers. Picture it like inviting someone into your home. You might welcome plenty of guests into the living room, but only a select few make it past the door into your private spaces. When someone says they're comfortable around you, it means you've crossed that invisible threshold, past superficial politeness into genuine emotional territory. Yet here lies the crucial catch. Comfort alone is never a guaranteed sign of romantic attraction. There's an important distinction you must recognize, or you risk misinterpreting their words and falling into the friend zone. Comfort comes in two flavors. One leads to deeper intimacy, romance, and attraction, while the other places you firmly in the safe but platonic category. You might wonder if comfort can mean both friendship and romance. How do you tell the difference? The answer lies not only in their words, but also in the context, their tone, and subtle body language. Imagine you're listening to music. The same lyrics can sound romantic or purely friendly, depending on the melody behind them. Similarly, the real meaning behind "I feel comfortable around you" can change based on how it's expressed. If they say it while making sustained eye contact, leaning closer, smiling softly, or playfully reaching out to touch your hand or arm, consider this your green light. Those small gestures speak louder than words ever could. They're signs that you've ignited something beyond mere friendship. You've sparked intrigue, curiosity, and emotional desire. On the other hand, if they say this in a flat, matter-of-fact way during a moment of serious discussion, perhaps while opening up about deep problems or sharing sensitive stories, be careful. You might have just become the safe haven, the gentle ear, the comforting friend. Being someone's emotional rock is meaningful, yet it doesn't automatically translate into romantic attraction. You can be the best listener, a supportive companion, and a trustworthy confidant, but without a spark of excitement, the connection stays stuck in neutral. Think about it like this. Imagine building a cozy fireplace on a winter evening. Comfort is the warm glow, the inviting crackle of the flames. But romantic attraction requires another crucial element, the heat. Without warmth and intensity, the fireplace is beautiful but pointless. You must learn to see clearly if you're creating warmth along with comfort or merely providing a friendly glow. Many people fall into the trap of believing comfort alone can build attraction. You might be asking yourself now, but isn't trust essential for romance? Of course, trust matters greatly. It's the foundation upon which relationships stand. However, comfort without excitement or passion quickly becomes dull. Trust is essential, yes, but it must be paired with mystery, energy, and desire. Stoicism reminds us of balance. As Seneca wrote, "He who fears he shall suffer already suffers what he fears." Fear of rejection, fear of misunderstanding, fear of stepping out of comfort. All these hold people back from injecting the necessary spark into relationship. Consider the difference between friendship and romance as the difference between a peaceful lake and a flowing river. Friendship feels like calm waters, peaceful, predictable, and serene. Romance is the flowing river, still safe yet always moving forward, full of life and new possibilities. Your goal isn't simply to provide calm waters. You want to be the river, reliable yet exciting, gentle yet unpredictable. When they say they're comfortable around you, ask yourself honestly, am I the lake or the river right now? Also, remember that attraction thrives on tension. Healthy, positive tension, not conflict, but the type that leaves them thinking about you even when you're not there. It's this emotional magnetism that takes the comfort you've established and turns it into something deeper. Comfort without tension is a flower without fragrance. Beautiful, perhaps, but easily forgotten. Comfort combined with intrigue is captivating, unforgettable, and emotionally charged. Another question might naturally arise. What if I'm already in the friend zone? Can I shift from comfort to attraction? Yes, but it requires careful changes. Inject a bit of mystery. Step back slightly, allowing space for curiosity to grow. If you've become too available, slightly changing your presence can transform their perception. The Stoic Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." Change your approach subtly, and their feelings can shift too. When someone tells you they feel comfortable around you, they're silently saying you've passed their instinctive tests. You've proven that you can be trusted, respected, and safe. Yet comfort alone isn't the end of the journey. It's just the starting point. Your next move is crucial. Will you stay comfortable, predictable, and friendly? Or will you take the connection deeper towards something more meaningful, more passionate, and more fulfilling? Understanding this difference changes everything. It can be the deciding factor between becoming their confidant or becoming their partner. Remember, it's not just about comfort, it's about combining safety with excitement, ease with intensity. True attraction requires both. They've opened the door. Now what comes next depends entirely on you. 3. Do you think about me? When someone looks at you with an innocent smile and asks, "Do you ever think about me?" it can feel like stepping onto thin ice. You might wonder, is this a casual question or a subtle hint? But here's the truth. Questions like this are rarely casual. They're little emotional tests hidden beneath innocent curiosity. Think of them like pebbles thrown into a pond, small but powerful enough to create ripples. They're not just wondering if they've crossed your mind. They're measuring how deep they've already settled in your thoughts. Consider this scenario. Imagine your mind as a busy city, full of bustling streets and countless people. When someone asks if you think about them, they're indirectly checking whether they've secured a place in your mental landscape. A private corner away from the crowded streets, somewhere you go when the noise settles. If they had no interest or emotional investment, why would it matter to them at all? The truth is, by asking this question, they're admitting something important. They've been thinking about you too. But here's where people often misstep. They answer too directly or reveal too much too soon. They jump eagerly at the opportunity, confessing openly. "Of course I think about you all the time." It might feel right at first, but this eagerness can quickly drain away the tension and mystery that initially attracted them. Attraction thrives in uncertainty and playful ambiguity. The philosopher Baltasar Gracian once wisely noted, "Always leave something to wish for, otherwise you'll tire the appetite." In relationships, mystery is the spice that keeps interest alive. Revealing all your cards immediately is like spoiling the end of a good story. Exciting at first, disappointing soon after. Instead, the ideal response is a playful, teasing comeback. Imagine yourself as a poker player, carefully guarding your hand while flashing just enough to intrigue your opponent and stay due to the replies such as, maybe, "Why have you been thinking about me?" Or "I try not to, but somehow you keep showing up in my mind" are perfect. These playful retorts achieve two things at once. They confirm that they're on your mind, yet flip the script, gently pushing them to admit they've been thinking about you too. The balance of interest shifts, creating intrigue and excitement. This type of playful tension is crucial, as it keeps both of you engaged, invested, and craving more interaction. You might now be wondering, but why does this particular question matter so much? Why is it such a powerful indicator of developing feelings? The reason is simple. Asking if someone thinks about you is inherently vulnerable. It places emotional control briefly into your hands, creating a moment when the relationship can shift dramatically. It's like they've handed you an emotional key and said, "Here, you can open the door or lock me out." Responding skillfully to this question can transform casual attraction into genuine emotional depth. This single interaction can be the tipping point, the exact moment when casual curiosity becomes real, lasting investment. At times, this question might also come in other forms, wrapped in a bit more subtlety. They might softly say, "Do you ever miss me?" or jokingly remark, "I bet you don't even think about me when I'm not around." Or perhaps they quietly ask, "Did our last conversation ever pop into your head?" Each of these variations serves the same purpose. They're asking without directly asking, keeping themselves safe from outright rejection. If the answer isn't positive, it's easy to brush off. If it is positive, it opens doors to deeper connection. But once you've playfully handled their question, what's your next step? Here is where many stump. Most people either downplay it, offering a bland, safe reply, or overdo it by becoming overly eager. Neither creates true emotional depth. The best approach is to deepen the connection with sincerity, building on that initial playful reply with something personal and specific. Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "Know first who you are and then adorn yourself accordingly. Know your position, clearly confident yet warm, intriguing yet genuine." For example, after your playful response, you could smoothly transition into a specific memory about them. You might say something like, "Actually, it's funny you ask. I was randomly thinking about that joke you told last weekend. I nearly laughed out loud at the coffee shop this morning. You're dangerous to my public image." Or perhaps mention a unique observation about their reactions. "Strangely enough, yesterday I remembered your face during that movie we watched. The way your expressions shifted with every scene was honestly unforgettable." Sharing precise memories like these accomplishes two crucial tasks. First, it confirms they genuinely occupy space in your thoughts. Second, it shows authentic attention to details others overlook. You might also wonder at this point, what if I'm not naturally playful or witty? Remember, attraction isn't about perfection, it's about genuine presence. Even a simple but thoughtful reflection works wonders, like casually mentioning, "I actually found myself thinking about our conversation the other night. Something you said stuck with me." Authenticity shines brighter than cleverness. Real emotional connections aren't formed by witty comebacks alone. They're built on sincerity paired with just enough mystery to maintain intrigue. Ultimately, when someone asks if you think about them, they're inviting you into a dance. They've stepped forward, testing whether you'll step back or join in. Handle it right, and you set the rhythm for something deeper. Handle it poorly, either rushing forward too eagerly or pulling away too abruptly, and you risk breaking the delicate momentum you've built. Think of it like the start of a song. Your response sets the tone for everything that follows. Whether your story turns into a brief moment or becomes an unforgettable relationship largely depends on how thoughtfully you handle these delicate questions. When they ask, "Do you think about me?" recognize it as an invitation. Respond confidently, playfully, yet authentically. and you've just set the stage for something deeper, richer, and genuinely meaningful. 4. What would you do in my shoes? When someone looks you in the eyes and softly says, "What would you do if you were in my shoes?" it might initially seem like just another casual conversation, an innocent question that doesn't carry much weight. But make no mistake, beneath this simple question lies a deeper message. It's not just about seeking your advice. It's about inviting you into their personal space, emotionally and mentally. It's a subtle test, a way of exploring whether you belong in their future, not just as a friend, but perhaps as something much more significant. Think of it as if they've handed you the keys to their inner world. They're opening a window into their personal struggles, uncertainties, and vulnerabilities, inviting you not only to look, but to step inside. Why you? Though they likely have plenty of friends, family members, or colleagues they could turn to for advice, the fact they chose you specifically speaks volumes about the emotional significance you hold. They're silently saying, "Your perspective matters deeply to me. Your thoughts influence mine." But why exactly does this indicate a growing attraction or emotional connection? Psychologically, asking your opinion about their decisions reveals that they admire more than your surface-level qualities. It's your character, your values, your wisdom, the intangible qualities that set you apart, that have caught their attention. As the Roman philosopher Seneca wrote, "Associate with those who will make a better person of you." By seeking your input, they are subtly acknowledging you as someone who could enhance their life, someone whose perspective they respect enough to guide their path forward. Picture their life as a journey down an uncertain road. They've paused at a crossroads, unsure which direction to take. When they ask, "What would you do?" they're essentially saying, "I trust you to help me find clarity in moments of confusion." It's like handing you the map, trusting your judgment enough to let you navigate alongside them. This isn't about simply giving advice. It's a quiet signal that they see you as a trusted companion, someone whose presence brings both comfort and strength. Yet at this moment, a question might naturally cross your mind. Couldn't this question simply mean they see me as a good friend? The answer is yes, it could, but context matters greatly. Pay attention to their tone, body language, and the situations in which they pose this question. Are their eyes locked with yours, holding your gaze longer than usual? Is their voice softer, filled with genuine curiosity or even slight vulnerability? These small details often reveal more than the question itself. If their eyes and voice convey warmth, curiosity, or even tenderness, then rest assured this is not mere friendship. This is emotional exploration, a subtle test of your compatibility, your emotional depth, and your alignment with their values. To better understand this moment, think of it as a delicate audition. Though not the kind you perform openly, it's more like quietly stepping onto a stage in front of an audience of one. They're watching carefully, curious how you'll respond to the complexity of their emotions. They're wondering, are you thoughtful? Can you empathize? Do you show emotional maturity in your response? Your answer will either deepen their trust or leave them uncertain. This is the pivotal point at which they start envisioning whether your emotional worlds align enough for something deeper and more profound. The Stoics understood deeply the value of emotional clarity and trust. Marcus Aurelius wisely stated, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." In this interaction, they're inviting you to help shape the color of their thoughts, to influence their emotional landscape. Your response can solidify trust and deepen attraction, or leave them feeling unsure about whether your emotional wavelength matches theirs. When they ask this question, it's also a powerful opportunity to show that you see beneath the surface, that you truly understand them. Many people mistakenly rush to provide immediate solutions, not realizing this misses the entire point. They're not always seeking quick fixes. Sometimes they're looking to gauge your emotional sensitivity. How deeply do you listen? Do you sense the feelings hidden behind their words? Instead of jumping directly into solutions, try acknowledging the complexity of their feelings first. Something like, "That's a tough position to be in. I understand why you're feeling unsure," can build emotional intimacy far more effectively than simply offering advice. Imagine this scenario like standing on thin ice. Each step matters greatly. Take a step too forcefully or too hastily, and you risk cracking the surface. Take the time to demonstrate genuine empathy first, then offer your thoughts with clarity and care. By doing this, you strengthen trust, making them feel emotionally safe in your presence. Remember, emotional attraction flourishes best when there's genuine emotional security. You might also wonder, what if I don't know how to answer perfectly? The good news is that perfection isn't necessary. Honesty and thoughtful sincerity always matter more. Even admitting uncertainty, that's a challenging situation. Let's think it through together. Shows strength, humility, and emotional maturity. It also reveals your willingness to share the emotional journey rather than merely playing advisor. This moment of vulnerability, when they ask what you would do in their place, often marks the beginning of real emotional intimacy. It signals that their feelings are moving beyond casual attraction and beginning to involve genuine trust. They're quietly imagining what your presence in their life would truly mean. Picturing your role not merely as an outsider looking in, but as someone fully engaged, emotionally present and committed. So next time you hear them gently asking, "What would you do in my shoes?" pause for a moment. Recognize it not as a casual query, but as a subtle yet powerful invitation to step closer into their emotional landscape. Respond with empathy, authenticity, and genuine depth, because in that response lies the possibility of building a lasting connection. A bond rooted not just in attraction, but in shared values, emotional maturity, and mutual trust. 5. I feel like you get me. There's something uniquely powerful about the moment when someone pauses mid-conversation, smiles softly, and quietly says, "I feel like you get me." It might seem like a casual remark, almost hidden between jokes and laughter, yet it carries a profound meaning. A silent message that transcends everyday communication. This isn't just about agreeing on favorite movies or sharing a sense of humor. It's about reaching a deeper, almost intuitive understanding. It's as if they've opened a door they keep locked around others, gently allowing you inside a room no one else can see. Consider their inner self as an intricate maze, complex, guarded, and rarely understood completely. Most people wander around the edges, confused by twists and turns, easily lost. But you somehow found a path straight through, seeing clearly the complexities they carefully hide. When someone says, "You get me," they're acknowledging that you navigated their inner maze effortlessly, without needing a map or guide. You've understood their complexities not just through conversation, but through intuition, subtle gestures, silences, and the gentle reading between lines. Why does this matter so deeply? Because psychologically, human beings crave understanding more than almost anything else. As author Stephen Covey wisely said, "Seek first to understand, then to be understood." True attraction is built not just on physical chemistry, laughter, or compatibility, but on the feeling of being genuinely seen. When they express this sentiment, they're admitting you've gone beyond superficial layers. They feel safe enough around you to shed their emotional armor, knowing you won't misunderstand or dismiss them. Think of relationships like languages. Most people speak only on the surface level, exchanging basic pleasantries. But true emotional intimacy happens when two people speak the same hidden dialect, the language of subtle glances, shared silences, quiet gestures, and intuitive understanding. Saying, "I feel like you get me," is their way of confirming you've discovered that secret language together, creating a connection stronger than words. At this point, you might be wondering, does this automatically mean romantic interest? While this statement certainly reflects emotional closeness, it does more than simply indicate friendship. It's an emotional bridge connecting two souls at a deeper level. It's one thing to be understood by friends. It's another entirely to feel understood in a way that ignites feelings of attraction, longing, or romance. Romantic interest emerges when emotional closeness combines with the quiet thrill of being uniquely seen, understood, and valued. Think of it as if you've become their emotional mirror, a mirror that reflects who they truly are beneath their daily mask. People spend immense amounts of energy maintaining masks to protect their vulnerabilities. When they say you get them, they're essentially admitting you see beneath their carefully crafted disguise. They're relieved because maintaining the mask can be exhausting, and you offer comfort by simply recognizing their true self. At this moment, you become emotionally indispensable, the one person who sees clearly without distortion. This experience can feel almost magical, like finding someone who speaks your mother tongue after living in a foreign land. Suddenly, every subtle gesture makes perfect sense. Conversations become fluid, comfortable, and profoundly satisfying. This feeling, this seamless communication, forms the foundation for lasting attraction. You're no longer simply another face in their crowded world. You've become a significant emotional anchor. Yet you might ask, how can I be certain that I'm interpreting their words correctly? The answer lies in how often this sentiment is expressed and the emotional energy behind it. Pay attention to their tone, eye contact, and body language. Do they relax visibly when expressing this feeling, as if a weight has lifted? Do they often lean closer, hold eye contact just a bit longer, or speak in softer, more meaningful tones? Each of these signals confirms that this is not mere friendship. It's emotional intimacy in its purest form, creating a space for deeper romantic feelings. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic philosopher, once remarked, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." Similarly, relationships depend profoundly upon the quality of mutual understanding. A meaningful connection requires not only shared interests or compatible lifestyles, but also emotional resonance, two hearts beating to the same subtle rhythm. By expressing that you get them, they're signaling they've discovered exactly this resonance in you. Moreover, the power behind this phrase lies in its rarity. Genuine understanding is precious, precisely because it's uncommon. People can live entire lifetimes surrounded by friends, family, and acquaintances without ever feeling truly seen. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once noted, "Invisible threads are the strongest ties." Feeling understood is one of those invisible threads quietly binding two souls together. This isn't about grand gestures or sweeping declarations. It's about the gentle, steady reassurance of knowing someone recognizes your inner self clearly. Another metaphor might help clarify this further. Imagine you're both artists painting portraits. Most people only paint the outlines, leaving the deeper, subtler details unnoticed. But you have carefully and accurately painted each shadow, each subtle color, the quiet fears, secret hopes, and hidden insecurities others overlook. When they say "you get me," they're acknowledging you've captured their portrait perfectly. It's not flattery, it's emotional recognition, appreciation, and relief combined into one simple phrase. If you're wondering how you should respond to such a powerful moment, acknowledge the significance without downplaying it. A gentle smile, quiet sincerity, and words like "I feel the same way," or simply, "I'm glad you feel that way," convey your own understanding without overstating it. The beauty of emotional intimacy is that it doesn't demand grand responses, only genuine ones. In essence, hearing them say, "I feel like you get me," marks a vital turning point. It signals clearly that the connection is no longer merely casual. It's evolving toward genuine intimacy. It also creates a beautiful opportunity to deepen the relationship, strengthen the emotional foundation, and cultivate a bond that could endure far beyond surface attraction. In that single quiet sentence, they've shown you exactly what they need: genuine understanding. And now that you've seen them clearly, the next steps become clear. Nurture the trust, deepen that intimacy, and embrace the possibility of something truly profound. 6. I can't imagine my life without you. When someone softly admits, "I can't imagine my life without you," it's not just a sweet remark or a casual statement. It's a profound confession of emotional depth. Imagine their life as a carefully composed melody. Every important person is a note creating harmony, yet you have become a vital chord, something that holds their entire song together. Without your presence, there would be a noticeable silence, a void that changes the tune completely. On a psychological level, this phrase reflects the deep emotional bonds explained by attachment theory. It shows that they formed an emotional connection with you, strong enough to shape their sense of identity and their experience of the world. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." You have in essence colored their emotional world. Your presence isn't merely pleasant. It has become essential to their emotional landscape. But you might be asking yourself, does this mean they truly love me? Or is this just something people casually say? Consider the weight behind these words. Casual relationships or friendships don't carry the intensity of not being able to imagine life without someone. Such a declaration is a silent yet powerful invitation, hinting at a future shared. It's as if they're standing at the edge of a cliff, looking into the unknown, holding your hand and silently asking if you'll jump together into whatever comes next. This statement also carries emotional vulnerability. They're placing their heart in your hands, trusting you to protect it. In their eyes, losing you would be like removing the foundation from beneath a well-built house. Recognize the depth of their words. You've become essential, irreplaceable, a cornerstone of their emotional world. Handle this moment with care. It's a precious opportunity to solidify a bond that could last a lifetime. 7. I want to make you proud. When someone earnestly says, "I want to make you proud," it goes far beyond the surface-level desire to impress. Beneath these simple words lies something deeper, an emotional commitment and genuine admiration. Think of this statement as them handing you a precious medal they've spent time carefully crafting, hoping you'll notice its value. They're subtly confessing that your approval holds real meaning, more than casual praise or a quick compliment. Psychologically, this desire reflects genuine respect and admiration. It isn't just about gaining your attention, it's about being worthy of your regard. They view your standards as reflections of your character, and they aspire to match that depth. As philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson noted, the desire for approval is not weakness, it's a natural instinct to bond deeply. By openly wanting to make you proud, they're admitting that your opinion has already shaped their motivation and identity. Think of it this way: your opinion has become their emotional compass, guiding them through life's decisions. They're quietly showing that your words, reactions, and feedback matter profoundly. In fact, your validation has become something they genuinely crave. Not to boost their ego, but because your approval signals emotional closeness. At this moment, you may wonder, Does wanting to impress me really signal deeper feelings? Absolutely. People don't strive for approval from those whose opinions they don't deeply value. Casual acquaintances might compliment each other superficially, but the desire to make you proud speaks volumes. It indicates emotional vulnerability. They're opening themselves to potential rejection or disappointment, hoping you'll respond warmly. When they tell you, "I want to make you proud," recognize it as more than mere words. It's an emotional investment, a gentle declaration that your approval has the power to inspire them, drive them forward, and deeply connect them to you.